Hey everyone, welcome back to another painting tutorial with me, Oscar Lars. This tutorial goes hand in hand with the Ogor tattoo tutorial that came out a couple of weeks ago. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Okay, we finally got the skin tutorial done and published. We are very excited to have this done for you all, and also excited to move on to the other skin tutorials coming up next. If you want to contribute to these tutorials so we can continue to improve them, please follow the links below to our Patreon page. Any help is appreciated. If you can't, that's totally fine. Give us a like, subscription, and a comment to tell us about your project, or if you have any wishes for tutorials you want to see in the future. And now, please enjoy the tutorial. For the palette for this skin, we're gonna use Nagaroth Night, Bugman's Glow, Cadian Flesh, and Scale 75 Light Skin. First off, we're gonna coat all of the flesh using both Bugman's Glow and Nagaroth Night. For the mix, I use about 70% Bugman's Glow and 30% Nagaroth Night. Do 2 thin coats to keep it nice and smooth. When the first coat is dried, layer Bugman's Glow all over the muscles, keeping in mind that the light hits from above. Layer the Bugmans into the crevices where the light would hit from above. For example, where the shoulder meets the levator scapulae muscle that leads from the shoulder to the cranium. You don't want to leave too many dark areas on much of the areas of the skin that would be exposed to the light. Coat all of it with Bugmans. There will be enough contrast to define them later on. For the second coat, I take some Bugman's Glow and mix in some Cadian Flesh. The ratio here isn't really about the amount of paint that you mix in, but rather look at the paint that you're mixing. You want the hue to be about in between Bugman's Glow and Cadian Flesh. I'll layer this using the same principle as the previous layer of pure Bugman's Glow, but making this layer slightly smaller to leave a bit more of a transition happening from the shadow areas towards the light. When painting the hands, I don't pay attention to the veins just yet. These are so subtle on the hands that we'll pick them out later on. Before moving on to the next layer, I make sure that this layer has covered all of the major larger areas, meaning 2 thin coats. The third layer will be using more cadmium flesh tone into the mix. Again, using the same principle as the previous areas, but now we'll be defining the muscles more as we step away from the zenithal principle. All the gaps between the muscles that can be seen from above will now be more clearly defined. Now, I'm also starting to define the veins on the hands. This means that we are overall starting to pay more attention to the micro shadows. For the fourth layer, we'll be doing a layer of pure cadmium flesh tone, our mid-tone for this skin recipe. With this layer, I'm also being far more selective where I place the paint. When painting this tutorial, if you do all the previous steps including this one, you'll have a really nice and smooth skin tone for your ogres, or humans, or elves. But if you want to make this skin really nice, then I suggest you proceed. For the fifth layer, we mix in some scale 75 light skin. If you don't have this paint, then you can use Kislev Flesh from the Citadel paint range. For the hands, I now only define the knuckles, joints of the fingers, as well as the top part of the hands and veins. Now it's time to start putting on some highlights. For this, I'm making a very bright mix using cadmium flesh tone and scale 75 light skin. I'm defining the lips, the eyebrows, the cheekbones, tips of the ear, etc. I also define the top parts of the muscles. Lastly, I go in and touch up a few places that need some extra work. It's really important not to trust blindly a technique to paint, but also to look at the model and think about what looks good and what doesn't. Here you can see me applying some more mid-tone to the lower part of the back that started to look a bit too underworked once we got the rest of the skin done. These ogre models and this skin is perfect to apply some really neat looking tattoos. We already have a tutorial for this, which you can find on our profile here on YouTube. The last little trick I'm going to show you guys is for the ones who remain the whole video out. We are going to apply some red glaze to a few areas of the skin. I'm applying this to lips, cheeks, nipples, elbows, knuckles, and joints. For this, I'm using bloodletter glaze mixed with some extra flow aid. That's it for this video on how to paint ogre skin. I want to thank all of our patrons for the support they give to this video. Maarten, Jonathan Edlund, Jason D. Fluffer, Mark Alexander, and Matt Rotowski. I also want to thank everyone who purchased one of my shirts. If you want to get one of my sweet screen printed eco-friendly shirts, please find the links down below. Editing for this video was done by the amazing Maarten Kramer. The palette that we used in this video was the Redgrass Studio Wet palette. Link to it is down below. Using this link or any of the other links to their products below automatically contributes to these videos. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. Please share, like, and subscribe, and leave a comment down below for any wishes for future tutorials. Have an awesome rest of your day and happy painting!